Are you a leader? Welcome back in the Live It, Lead It podcast, the podcast for successful leaders around the globe, made in Germany, and I'm your host, Olaf Kapinski. You maybe you hear it. I have my window open. I am at my parents' in Hanover, and it's spring coming up, and lots of birds are outside. And I thought about, just close the window and stuff. Nah. It was so dark and rainy the last days, so I just enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it, and you pardon me that I just, leave the window open and you hear the birds crying. That's noisy. So let's leave it like that. So, leadership. You heard me talking about leadership in the last some odd episodes, and I think it's time for us to take today's episode to define this a little. So in Germany, or in the German-speaking piece of Europe, we have, let's say, the grandfather of leadership thinking. That is Professor Dr. Friedemann Malik. And if you haven't heard about Mr. Malik, then go Amazon. I believe I would be surprised if his books wouldn't have been translated into nearly any language. At least I know we have his main books in English. So hop over to the show notes. Either you can see it on your smartphone where you listen to this podcast, or you go on liveitleadit.com/episode 012. There I put a link to Amazon into the show notes to Malik's main books. So, and Malik says, leading is transferring resources into results. And I love that, because it's so to the point, and this is really what this is all about. And to bring us into the mood, let's take a real world example. So, a real world example, like, here is this group of people, and this group of people is in an unknown surroundings, and they want to get from A, where they are, to B, where they want to be. How does that work? And I really mean real world. Like, you and your friends are out there in the woods for a hike or so, and one person maybe knows where we are, but the others have no clue about the forest and so on. So, real world. What happens? One person will become the leader. This is always the case. One person will become the leader, either will be pushed into this leadership position a little from the group, or will actively take this leadership position. The latter part, the taking the leadership position, only works if the group is okay with that. We are not in a corporate context here. I'm talking real world. So, one person is given the leadership role, and this is the person where the group says, or where the group believes, that the capabilities of that person is now helpful for the group. And this may change over the time. So maybe, the person where everybody thinks she or he is the best navigator in the group will become the leader for the walking part. And when they are there in the evening, and I don't know, build a tent or something like that, then maybe the leadership role changes to that person who is more capable in building tents. So this is in the real world. The leadership is, number one, cannot be taken. Leadership is given by the group. I always say that it's not leading that is the active part, and then I keep a little silence. It's following is the active part. Lots of people run around and call themselves leaders, but nobody follows. Well, sorry, dude, you're just hiking. So, the second thing is we need movement. If this group wouldn't have had any intention to just go from A to B, then you don't need leadership. Sitting on the bench doesn't require any leadership at all. And next thing is you need a goal. You need a place where you want to go to. You need an objective. So you need movement and you need objective. Let's go back into corporate world. Some of what I've described in the little story remains in the corporate world. You can only successfully lead your people if they follow you. And with following, I don't mean they do what you say when you look at them, and as soon as you're off, they just do whatever they want. I mean follow, even if you're not available, if you're not there. Follow means involuntarily organization. There you can see it par excellence. Following, you follow those persons because of their ideas, because of their personality, not because somebody gives you money for that. So this is what you can see in corporate world as well. In corporate world, you should have movement and you should have a goal. And I've spoken about goals and objectives in the last somewhat episodes. You as a leader, lead your group, which is your organization, through an unknown environment. And I know that lots of environments where we lead our organizations through are known. So we know the customers, we know what they need, what they want, we know our suppliers, da-di-da-di-da. Yes, that's all true. And the world seems to change faster and faster. So it's much more often that you are just facing unknown situations where you and your organization have no experience with. And I'm not necessarily, I don't mean the big things, this, I can see the C-levels from Nokia, which is this ancient mobile phone company. I can see them sitting there and facing this Apple iPhone and having no clue how to react. Okay, problem solved. We face more, I mean it's smaller. We face more and more and more that our competitor is somewhat, since beginning of the year, 10% cheaper than us. Why? How come? And then you find out that they have just renovated their CRM system or whatever it is. And they introduced a piece of software. They introduced a robot that you haven't heard before. We will see more and more and more unclear situations. So leadership is giving orientation. And this is this is what you can take over from the real world example. Giving orientation. Let's have a look in a very good prime example, I believe, where we can see the evolution of leadership. And I'm talking about big buildings, old big buildings, namely Stonehenge in the UK and the first pyramid, or the pyramids at all, in Egypt. We have not much information about Stonehenge at all. It's there. It seems to be an observatory. Maybe it has something to do with a temple. But yeah, that's kind of it. Are there other buildings connected to Stonehenge? Yes, there is maybe even the same thing. It seems to have a sibling made out of wood, but wood is gone. So So Stonehenge is really big mystery, and lots of people just may give their own interpretations. Fine. Pyramids, bloody well documented. Really well documented. When you look at the first pyramid, which Pharaoh Djoser established, the first pyramid started as the standard, what they did for old kings, which is called mastaba. Mastaba is just a rectangular piece of stone. It looks like a box, and it's just not 10 meters high. So it's just, a box. This is what they could do. And obviously there was something. Djoser became very, very old. So his mastaba was finished when he was quite young. And the idea was, you never know when the boss dies, so better be prepared. And he had a very, very, very inspirational head architect. That was Mr. Imhotep. And I believe that was the dream team, because they extended this mastaba. They piled additional layers on top of it and additional layers on top of it. And this building did grow over the time when Djoser lived. This was built in some odd 40 years in steps. And you can really see it. The first pyramid is a steps pyramid. This has layers. You can see it from the outside. And it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I bet that the usual farmers out there knew their own small barns, their own small cottages, who are, let's give it 2 meters tall. They knew, okay, the king is is sent by God, so we build him a grave which is 8 meters high. This is impressing, but now they go sky high. 62 meters. That's even for today's people impressing when we know the skyscrapers. How? And here you can see the evolution. A little mastaba, I believe, and I haven't done that before. A mastaba can be made just with just a group of people, and they just organize themselves. Because I believe there is not so much of technology and work sharing involved in a mastaba. But when it comes to pyramids, you have to have professionals. And there you see the separation of professions. There they separated, and this is what we see from the documents that are there from these days. Now you have the people who cut the stones, you have the people who move the stones, you have the people who position the stones. You have the people who manage these hordes of people who move the stones, who do the work. You hear where I'm aiming for. And you have the people like Imhotep and maybe, I don't know, a bunch of people around him who really led the work to the end. And there we can see it very, very good, the three layers. You have the employees, you have the professionals who do their profession, who cut the stones out of the rocks, who move the stones over however they move them, who position the stones in a way that this wall really stays as a wall upright and not here and there and everywhere. You have the people on the construction site who manage what stone has to be where, needs to be moved where and how. I believe even you have the people who think about how to bring a stone 62 meters high. I mean, whoa, bring a ton of stone 62 meters high. Congrats. So then you have, because you cannot, not one person can move one of those tons stone. It's a bunch of people. This bunch of people need to be managed. And those troops need to be led to the objective. And here you have the three words. The pyramids are maybe not the first biggest building construction project in mankind, but as far as I know, they are the one who's best documented. And you can see the three sectors of work there. As I said, you have the employees who do the job, you have the managers who manage the job or manage the work on the job, and you have the leaders. And this all together can be brought into three nice sentences, which I really like, and I've taken them over from my German podcasting colleague, Dr. Bernd Gerob. And this goes like this. He says the employees work the job. And he says managers work on the job. So they design the job and they make sure that the employees can execute their jobs. And the leaders work on the organization. So this is the three layers that you have. And I understand it's very rare that you have a crystal clear, that you only work crystal clearly in one of those layers. Most of the employees work in the first layer. They work as a professional. They work their job. Okay, well done. And then you have, in good organizations, leaders who really focus on working on the organization. Do they do management job from time to time? Maybe. In corporate world, I believe the average person who leads people is doing management job and is doing sometimes leadership jobs. And here we go to the question. Are you a leader? And don't instinctively say, yes, sure, I'm the leader because my business card says I'm the leader of XYZ. No, that's not what I mean. What do you do the whole day? And please, whatever you tell me now, I don't believe you. It's not that I call you stupid. It's that I know that our days are busy, full with stuff. Our brain tends to forget a lot of things. And I know that I'm not the only one who was long years completely exhausted on Friday night. And I couldn't really point out what I achieved. Not what I've done, but what I achieved. So my invite, and this is only for the brave in the audience. Brave because it's this is where the separation comes. If you want to become better, you need to know what you want to change. If you can't see what you're doing over the day, you can't change anything. So my invite is give this minimum 1, 2, 3 weeks. Write down what you do in a 5-minute grid. So really write it down. I did. Make a spreadsheet. Give it. Don't over scientificate it. Just 5-minute grid, and then just write down what you've done. And I leave it there. And then at the end of the week, just have a look at it. Is this the log of a leader? Or the other way around? Would an external call this the log of a leader? And I mean, I can share this from my own experience. When I started this first time, I thought, wow, I'm a leader. And I felt like somewhat. Until Friday. And then I went home and just checked this spreadsheet and marked the real leadership tasks on it. It was, I don't know, maybe half an hour of the day. Not of the day, of the week. Lots of stuff was management because the organization was quite ineffective. And the managers above me were quite ineffective. And I will come to that in a minute. And I even did sometimes a little bit of professional work, knowing that this is something that I want to do, not that I have to do. So that was my private fun. So if you're strong enough to face the truth, then write it down. You can't manage what you can't measure. This is what they say. I say you need to know your enemy. You can't fight your enemy if you don't see him. It's impossible. And so this is the invite. Write it down. And by the way, if you're forced by your boss to do employees' work, really work the job, do professional, small, detailed stuff, then I always believe you have 3 options. Love it or change it. Imhotep never hit any stone out of any rock. Maybe on the weekend, just for relaxation work, because he just didn't want to go into the gym. Then he went there and just kicked some stones around. But Imhotep was very clearly the leader of the whole shop. He was just guiding the managers to get the things done. And this conflict between management and leadership will receive additional episodes, because this is really a big thing. This is a big thing because very, very often stuff is mixed up and misunderstood. So we would just I will talk about that as well. So my thesis is nobody will be promoted into leadership. And I give you this minute or this second to think about it. People will be promoted into different positions in the org chart. Yes. Nobody will be promoted into leadership. Malik, I've referred to the guy. Malik says a leader is someone who decides. And he only connects leadership to the ability of making decisions and the execution of those decisions. He doesn't connect it to leading people, to having staff. This is what lots of people may be surprised by. From his point of view, a leader is someone who decides, and I completely agree with that. I was working once in an organization where we didn't have any leadership at all. So it was an internal IT department. That's all that I give you. And we didn't have any leadership from above, no goals, no strategy, no decisions. I was reporting to someone. He was reporting. At the beginning, I was reporting to someone, and he was reporting to someone, and that person was reporting to the CIO. At the end, this one level just disappeared, so I was reporting. So my boss was the CIO. Nothing. The CIO was just working tactical stuff. He was always on his white horse rescuing the world. No clue what he wanted to achieve in 2 years. Nobody had an idea at all. The next, I only can call them managers because they were sometimes not even managers. So this next management level was just doing management stuff, and that's all. So I was there and thought about, this is garbage. I do not want to do that. So I decided to be a leader of my group. I had 3 teams, one in France, one in England, one in the UK, one in Germany. So nothing stopped me to make my own decisions. Nothing stopped me to give goals to my company, to my organization. Nothing stopped me to create a strategy where I want to go to with my organization. I believe leadership is a decision. If you want to become a leader, then first thing you have to do is you have to decide to become a leader. Average organizations give enough leeway where you can make decisions, where you can work on. And when I'm talking about make your own decisions, I'm explicitly talking about decisions that, from your point of view, face in the direction of the company and of the organization that you are employed in. If your bosses don't give you any strategy, any decision, well, you kind of have an experienced guess of what is right and what is wrong and what should be done. So here you go. I'm not talking about that you are completely in a vacuum and you just ivory tower around. No. That's not what I'm saying. I say if they don't do the job, then you do the job. Leadership is a decision. So going back to the initial question, are you a leader? Well, the question is if you already have decided to be a leader. And you don't need to have a staff. If you're listening to this and you are a young professional and you want to become a leader, by the way, if you are a young professional in IT, have a look at the IT Youngstars program. I will link to that on the Live It Lead It page. This is a 1-year program for people who want to become IT leaders or who are young IT leaders. I just guide you in a year through. I give you everything that I know because I've been there. I've made all the mistakes and some even twice. So the idea is to just share all this knowledge with you. So if you're a young leader or if you're a young professional and you're not a leader yet, then you can decide to become a leader. You can make those decisions. You can really enable yourself. Nobody stops you from reading stuff. Nobody stops you from talking to people. Nobody stops you from making decisions. Yes, the lower you are in the famous food chain, the smaller those decisions are. But you have to learn it from time to time. And you'll be surprised how far you can stretch your responsibility until you just have to apologize. And leaders apologize. They don't ask. Because, you know what I mean. Okay, so this is my idea, my thought for this week. Are you a leader? And this starts with a decision. It has nothing to do with where you can park your car. It has nothing to do what's written on your office door if you have one, what's written in your email signature, what's written on your business card. All of that has nothing to do. I know people, sadly enough, personally, who are head of something, chief of something. Sorry. They are not leaders at all. And I'm not talking about that those people have no clue about their business, which they haven't. But that particular people that I have in mind now just simply do not do any decisions. Not inspiring, no goals, nothing. Bureaucrats. So, in my world, you decide that you are a leader. And by the way, if you've made this decision, I can say this from my own experience, career will come. You have no choice. Decisions are always good. Decisions are always appreciated. Maybe not in your organization, but there are other organizations out there. That's it from me for this week. Have a great one. If you like, hop over to iTunes and give this podcast some stars. I'm even happy when you write me personally, where you come from, what's your surrounding, what you do, what you want to hear, and how you liked the last episodes. Have a good one and bye for now.